this will be your commentary.
No, do what I was going to do.
Yeah, but before that, can I ask you some questions? And then you can say what you want to say.
No.
I'm just going to ask you some questions about your. So when it says that you are from Ephraim, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So what does that mean?
Oh, well, I'm a descendant of Ephraim, one of the Old Testament apostles. And starting one of the starters of the 12 tribes of Israel.
Was Ephraim.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of Israel's sons?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're saying?
He had Ephraim and Manasseh.
Uh-huh.
And Ephraim was one of the sons, yeah.
And did anybody else in your family have that same one?
I don't know. Well, being as we're all from the same lineage, I would assume so. I would assume that everyone in our family had that same lineage.
So it was the centennial year, 100 years, the church began.
Yeah, it was
So it was very young, really. Just to think about 100 years isn't very long for the church to be organized.
Yep.
So this was also, you were 16 years old, so it was 1947. When did the war end?
Oh, golly, what was it? 54 or 55, something right?
No, the World War II. When did World War II end? It started in 43 or 40.
Oh.
So it ended at 45 or something like that?
You know what? I am horrible at dates.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly.
And the day you went to take this, to get your blessing, what do you remember about that day?
It was a very spiritual and important day to me. I felt that I was being given a blessing that I needed to pay attention to and stand by. And if I ever had questions in my life as what I should do, I needed to read my blessing to see if it would give me any indication of what I should do.
And when you got this blessing, did it feel like did you feel really happy afterwards?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
So this was in January, so probably it was in the winter time. Where did you have the blessing? Was it at your church or was it
in his home?
So you went to your patriarch's home.
Yeah.
And who was your patriarch?
East, Patriarch East.
That's a nice way of speaking, I think. So he talks a little bit about choosing the right partner. So how did this blessing help you in choosing the right partner for you?
This is the one thing that I wanted to point out today is as I grew older, I was young there, as I grew older, I dated different people, different young men, and I had a good time with all of them that I dated. But I prayed often to know who I should marry. And let's see, when I started in high school, we had walked from the high school, which was down in the middle of town in Provo, Utah, to our home, from our home to the school and back home on every school day. And of course, in the wintertime, there was going to be snow. And this one day, as we were all walking home, and I was walking on the...
How old were you?
I don't know, how old are you in junior high school or in high school? I was
15, 16, 17, and 18. What year in high school were you?
I was in my
junior.
second year in high school.
What?
I was in my second year in high
So
school.
that would be sophomore.
Yeah,
So you were 16.
something like that.
So was that in the same year, 1947?
Or what?
Well, this was given to you in January.
Of 1947?
So that was winter time.
No, that was given. Well, that was given. Don't tell me what day of the year that this incident happened to me, because I don't know.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is that if it happened when you were 16, it was close to the time when this was given
Yeah.
to you.
It was
So
pretty
what?
close.
Yeah, very close. Okay.
Yeah. So my friends and I were walking along in the snow on the sidewalk.
Which friend?
I don't remember, one of the kids in school. And here came some boys riding their bikes down in the street. They were on the street. We were on the sidewalk. And being a really friendly girl, I picked up a good handful of snow, and I threw it out and hit one of them right smack in the neck. And
His neck.
Yeah.
Good aim, Mom.
and of course he had to throw one back, but he missed me. And so
But there was more than one boy then. There were several boys, right?
yeah, but he's the only one I paid any attention to.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't know then. I know now, but I didn't know then. So he stopped and threw one back at me, and he missed. And so then he got on his bike and continued on his way, and we all laughed about it, thought that was kind of fun. Well, this little incident became a keystone in my life.
If you want to drink some water, just
Mhm.
you're buzzing off.
I sound like I'm.
Yeah. And you were buzzing when you were reading, and I was like, oh dear. I had to drink some water.
Because I had been dating a young man who was a Catholic boy. He was an okay person, and I had been trying to teach him to come to church with me, and he wouldn't do it. He said if he came to church with me, he would have to go and confess to his priest, and he didn't want to do that. Okay, that's fine. So then our mutual
Did you go
class.
to church with him?
He never invited me.
Would you have gone?
I probably would. I wasn't afraid of that. And so one day, soon after this had happened, my mutual teacher called and said, we're going to have an ice skating party, and you girls can all invite a partner to join with you in ice skating, a male partner, and we'll all go have a good time. So okay. Who can I ask?
Because you couldn't ask this other boy because he wasn't a member of the church.
That's right. I wouldn't ask him. He'd have to say no, he couldn't go, and I didn't want him to go anyway because I wasn't happy with him by then. And I thought, well, maybe I'll ask Wendell. He might be a fun boy.
But you hadn't met him yet.
I threw a snowball at him. What else do you want to do?
But what about the time when you were singing? Did that happen after you asked him?
Oh yeah, that was way after this.
The singing part?
Huh?
I thought it was before. I'd always heard of it as before, like the snowball, and you were singing.
But we hadn't been singing before I asked him.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And so I called him and asked him if he would like to go on. He said, sure. So after the afternoon came when we were going to go, and um, my mutual teacher called on the phone just before it was time to leave, and she said, "I'm sorry, the snow the ice has melted, and we can't have our skating party after all." And, oh dear, what am I going to do? And just right soon after she hung up, the doorbell rang, and it was Wendell. He was right on time.
Like always.
And I said, "Oh, I am so sorry. My mutual teacher just called and said the ice is melted and we can't have our ice skating party." And so I apologize. And he just kind of smiled and he said, "Well, you want to go to the movie?" And I said, "Sure." So we let my parents know that we were going to the movie, and we headed out for the movie. Now, the movie theater was about, it would be close to a mile from my house, but that didn't matter. We were used to walking in the snow and having a good
So
time.
you walked a whole mile in the snow
Yeah.
to the movie theater, a mile back.
Yeah, and it was a lovely evening. It was just nice for walking in the snow. The snow would crunch just right, and give you lots of time to just talk and get to know each other. And so,
It wasn't too cold.
no, I don't remember it being cold.
Do you remember what movie you were going to see?
Oh, heck no, I don't remember that. But we got to the Paramount Theater, and
That was in the center of Provo.
it was just sort of in the middle of downtown. I guess it wasn't a mile from our place. No, that was it was in the middle of the downtown, and so it would have been probably $8 something like that.
Okay.
And so
about half a mile.
And so when we got there, we got our tickets and we went in, and there was not an empty seat on the ground floor. And so when we said, "Shall we go up to the second floor? See, there's some seats." Yeah, so we climbed up to the second floor, and there was not an empty seat on the second floor. And so he said, "Oh, I know what to do." He said, "Come on with me." And he took my hand and just kind of led me up the steps, and we went up clear to the tippy toppy step, the very highest one. And he sat on the top step, put his foot on the second step, and he said, "Here, sit on my knee."
What did you think about that?
I thought, "Oh, wow." But I sat on his knee. I trusted him. I don't know. For some reason, I trusted him without even testing him more than that far. And
that was really, you hadn't known him very
no,
very
I just
long.
barely knew him. But I did. For some reason, I trusted him. He just had that trustworthy thing about him. And so we sat through the whole movie that way. I sat, and we both sat, but I was comfortable, and I don't know how comfortable he was, unless he was enjoying the experience. So
I imagine he was enjoying the experience.
No, he probably was. And so when the movie was over, we just stood up, went down with everybody else. But then, of course, on the way home, we talked and talked and talked and just enjoyed each other. And when he dropped me off at my house, he was a gentleman, and we talked for just a few minutes. And when we came to the front door, and the rule at my house was that when we came home from our dates, we came, let's see, we were to report that we were home because my mom and dad always waited up and made sure we were okay. So we said goodnight at the door, and he was on his way. So that was the first step.
So did you go in and report to your mom?
Oh yeah, I went inside and he went home.
And did you say anything to your mom about the date?
Of course.
What did you tell her?
I told her exactly what had happened.
And what did she say?
She just smiled, and Daddy smiled, and I said, well, we're glad you had a good time. So anyway, that was the beginning of Wendell and my dating times.
So what happened with this other person, this Catholic man that you were dating? What happened after that?
The one boy, the boy.
The other boy. So were you said that had you broken up with him before this date, or were you still?
Oh yeah, I had broken up with him. I wasn't going to fill with him anymore. And so that was the first date that Wendell and I had. And from then on, we had one date after another. And
But Mom, when did the thing happen? When you were, this is the way I heard it, was that before that date, you were playing the piano.
well, that's in the middle. I'm coming to that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, if you want to hear about that.
Okay, yeah, I do. But that I always thought that was before this date. But it
No,
wasn't.
this is the first time.
So let me go back then. So when you had to ask someone to the skating thing, right? You had known Wendell. So you actually, when you threw a snowball at Dad,
I didn't know him at all.
you didn't know him at all, but you said that you had your eye out for him.
Oh,
Was that the very first time you ever laid eyes on him?
yeah, that was the first time.
So why did you choose him to throw the snowball at?
He was just there.
Okay. So when he threw a snowball back at you, did you suddenly feel like, oh, this is somebody I'm interested in?
No, it was just like, and a happening on the way home from school, no big deal.
So then why did you choose to invite Dad if you didn't really know him very well to this? Because that's a pretty big party to invite somebody to.
I was listening to my patriarch blessing.
So, but how did you know him? Because you said you didn't know him before. So how did you know him in your ward, or how did he get your attention? There's got to be something in between that snowball and inviting him.
No, there wasn't anything between the snowball.
Did you
He was
know
in
him?
another ward.
Did you know his name when you threw the snowball at him?
I don't remember when I learned his name. I think it was when we. I think it was when we were walking in the snow to the movie that I learned what his name was.
Really?
It could be because
How could you invite him? How did you invite him? Did you call him up, or did you just?
Yeah,
meet
I
him?
guess I knew his name from something or other. I don't remember being introduced. Oh, I know when that night that we went to the movie. No, it was before that he told me his name. I don't know. Those things aren't important to remember because we just did, it was just, we get to know each other. We might have bumped into him at school or something. And I don't remember that though.
So what was the reason? Why did you choose him to go to that skating?
Because the Spirit told me to.
Say more about that.
My patriarchal blessing told me I should be careful who I chose as my partner in life. And I prayed every day about my patriarchal blessing. And I just knew that was what I was supposed to do.
So somebody that you really didn't know at all.
Yeah.
And that you hadn't had any experience with.
Well, I threw a snowball at him. He threw one back at me. He had accepted the invitation from me to go to to go ice skating, And then when we couldn't go, he offered a movie. Well, that's a pretty good bunch of getting to know a person in just a few days.
But the inciting incident was that you invited him, so there must have been something in you that you weren't going to just invite anybody.
No, I was just going to listen to the Spirit, and I did.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just trying to understand how you even knew his existence, because before that you said you didn't even know who he was.
No,
Like why he impressed you in any way.
he impressed me all the way as soon as I threw the snowball at him.
Well, why did that impress you?
Why does anything impress a young lady?
You just thought he was cute?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He was pretty cute, wasn't he? He was a very good looking guy.
Yeah, he was. So anyway, that's how I got to go with him, and that's how I found my husband. And
So wait. You said that there's a second part. So you guys started dating,
mhm.
and then you said you were going to talk about what happened when he put his hands on your hips.
Well,
What was that?
we already did that. Oh, no, we didn't do that, did we? We both met, though we weren't in the same ward. We both met for a mutual on the same night in the same building. And on this one night, he and the boys were playing basketball upstairs. It was a church that had 3 floors, basement, ground floor, and upstairs, third. And we girls from the other ward were practicing a song that we were to sing in a program in the room under the upstairs where they were practicing basketball. And so when Wendell and his buddies came downstairs from their basketball, Wendell, loving to sing, heard us singing, and he decided to come over and sing with us. So he came over and stood behind us and just peeked over our shoulders to see the music. And in order for him to do that, when he put his hands on my hips and leaned over, I got this really strong feeling, that's who you're going to marry.
So you'd been dating already?
No, we hadn't.
Okay, well, this is where I was trying to say that I think that happened before you asked him out.
No, I asked him out first. Well, yeah, I'd been dating. Yes, I had dated him before. Yeah.
So when this happened, you had already been dating.
Yeah.
Because the way that Dad says it is that he didn't know who you were at that point.
When he put his hands on my hip. I don't know. I can't tell you why he thought that.
Okay.
Maybe he forgot who we went to the movie with.
I don't think so.
I don't either.
Okay. Anyway, you're saying this happened after the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're the one giving the history.
Yeah, because that movie thing was the very first thing I had with him.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm hearing it differently than I've heard it before, so this is good to get it straight.
Yeah. So anyway,
So when he put his hands on your hips, you got an impression that this was who you were going to marry.
Yeah.
And then you also said something to your friend, didn't you?
I told my girlfriend on the way home that that's who I was going to marry.
And what did she say?
How do you know? And I told her. And she just shook her head and said, oh, well. Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the end of that story.
Okay. So then what happened?
We got married.
Well, there had to be things in between.
Oh, that would take too long to tell about this morning.
So you've been dating, and then he was a year older than you, right?
Mhm.
So what happened when he graduated from high school?
He went on to college at BYU,
Mhm.
and I still went to high school.
So you guys are still living in the same town.
Oh yeah, we live in the same town.
So were you still dating and everything?
Yeah, we dated. I dated some other kids, and he dated some other. I don't know if he dated many other girls because I had never thought about this before, but this one night it was a dance at the high school, and Wendell shows up with this ticket for the dance, which was the activity card. And
And you hadn't expected it?
well, no, he picked me up, and we show up at the high school together, and he shows his activity card to Mr. Can't remember his name, Treegagel, and Mr.
Every school had they have a Treegagel as a teacher. It's a great name.
And he looked at the activity card and he said, "Wendell, where'd you get this?" And Wendell says, "Well, I bought it." "What are you doing buying an activity card when you're not even going to school here anymore?" And Wendell says, "Well, I just bought it so I could come to the dances and dance with Rosalie." Mr. Treegagel just looked at him and laughed and said, "Well, there's no rule against that, so come on in."
Oh, that's so nice. Were you flattered that he did that?
Yeah. Yeah. So we went to all of the dances that year together, and we used that activity card till about got wore out, I guess.
Yeah. So he got called on a mission, right? Were you engaged before? Did he ask you to marry him before the mission, or did you just decide to wait for him? What happened before he left?
Well, he was going to college, and he was playing in the band.
The ROTC band.
Yeah, the ROTC band, it was a military band, and and the year, let's see, he was on his second year at BYU. Maybe he was on his third year. I'm not. It was either his second year or third year, and the band played for all the games and the marching in the street before the games parade, and so he was really busy doing that, and and we just dated all along.
What was it that you really liked about him? What was it that made you really consider him? What qualities did he have?
He had every quality of a honest, careful to behave right person who, oh, I hadn't told you before, he stuttered badly.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was kind of hard for him to let himself get into speaking positions or having to talk with people very much. But he never stuttered to me.
So he felt really comfortable with you, right? at the beginning.
Yeah, we felt comfortable together
Why do you think that is? What was it about you that made you feel so comfortable, do you think?
because he felt my respect and love for him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So he just felt like immediately you gave him that respect.
Yeah. And I knew Heavenly Father had sent me that way and sent him that way because it had just happened the way my patriarchal blessing suggested it happen. So anyway, how much of my life story do you want?
Well, I'm interviewing you, so I will tell you when I'm done. So you were starting to talk about what happened before he left on his mission, and did you make promises, or did he ask you to marry him? What happened before he left?
Yes, yes, and yes.
So tell me how that happened.
Oh, well, he originally had planned on going into the it's another military.
Oh, the Army?
Not the Army.
The Navy?
Not the Navy.
Not the Marines.
One that you don't even think of.
Not the Marines. 'Cause that's
not the Marines.
Navy, Army. Well, there's Air Force, but you go into that. So.
Oh. Anyway, it doesn't really matter because he didn't. He was originally going to go that way, but he learned that really wouldn't be advantageous to him. So instead, he joined the Air Force. And that was after he came back from his mission.
Well, wait. We want to go before the mission.
Yeah.
So before he left on his mission, and he was going to go to school, but then he decided to go on a mission. So he was going to do something with ROTC, and that's when he got called to go to the California mission, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before he went on that mission, what happened between the two of you?
Well, I promised I would marry him, and he brought me a ring. Bought me a ring.
So tell me how he asked you.
Huh?
So did he ask you to marry him?
Yeah, he asked me to marry him.
So how did that happen? Because I know he asked you twice, or when he came back. So the very first time he asked you to marry him, and he bought you a ring, so that's pretty big.
Well, this that I said he asked me to marry him came before he bought me a ring.
Where were you when that happened?
I don't know. We were probably walking home from some date. It just kind of slipped in there because we were dating a lot, and he was making all these plans, and it was like, I don't know how it happened, but it was like, oh, I'm going to go on a mission, and you're going to be home here still, and will you promise to wait for me? And I said yes, 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 and that's when he surprised me with an engagement ring.
So what did you think when you got the ring? Were you pretty happy?
Oh yeah, I was happy.
Did you have a party? Did you show all your friends? What happened?
I joined the Missionary Sweetheart Club.
Okay. Tell everybody what that is.
That's a group of girls that are all waiting for missionaries. And we got together and told our little stories about how our missionaries were doing and plans that when they come home, what we wanted to do and stuff. It was just a fun little group. But, well, it was pretty big. We had about 18 girls in the group.
It's a pretty big group.
Yeah, it is. And we even had a Missionary Sweetheart song.
Yeah.
That we sang to.
Did you make it up, or was it given to you?
It was this missionary Sweetheart Club was old enough that it had rules and it had a song and it had different kinds of activities that they would do together.
What were some of the rules?
I can't remember. We never worried about the rules. We just were good girls.
And you also had like a sweater that had Missionary Sweetheart on it too, right?
Yeah, we did.
So so it really was kind of like a club.
It was.
Yeah,
Missionary
it was a
Sweetheart Club.
club. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When you thought about Dad leaving for 2 years, did that seem like a long, long time? How did you feel about that?
Yeah. A long, long time that he was on his mission.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you cry when he left?
Are you kidding? Yeah. We did.
Yeah. Do you think that him leaving for 2 years made your heart more fond of him? And you also had some time to grow up a little bit too, didn't you?
We both did. We wrote to each other regularly, and yeah, it was a time of learning for both of us. I was called on a stake mission, so I served a stake mission while he was on his mission, and
so that was kind of
helped
giving
me.
you something in common.
Yeah.
Did you share your experiences with him, and did he share yours with you?
Yeah.
Did you save those letters?
You know, I did. In that small chest that's in the closet, I saved all of our letters, and I loved them. But one day, my brothers got into them, and I was so hurt, and I was so distrustful of what might become of my letters if I didn't do something with them. I couldn't leave them in that little trunk anymore, and I really don't know why I jumped to a conclusion like I did so quick and did it so quick, because I burned them all.
Because you didn't want anyone to read them.
It was just our business, and it was and I was just really hurt. And
did they tease you about them? Is that one of the things that they?
I can't remember. They must have done.
But it just felt like something so sacred.
Yeah.
That you didn't want anybody to.
Yeah, it was just between Randall and me. And now I wish I had been not quite so angry, not quite so distrustful. If I'd been more jumped to conclusions, if I'd have waited a week to make my decision, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I just did it on the spur of the moment.
You were very young, you know. You were just a teenager, so you were still probably just reacting like a teenager might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's that. But it all worked out. He came home. We met each other at the depot. He didn't give me a kiss like the other missionaries did with their girlfriends.
That would have been a disappointment, wasn't it? you had what was the image that you thought was going to happen when you
I was going to get a great big kiss and a hug, and but he, being a very obedient missionary, obedient person, he hadn't been released as being a missionary yet. He was still a missionary, so he reached over and we shook hands. How do you do?
Not as romantic as you were hoping.
Yeah, welcome home. And I was really kind of hurt, but I could understand because he was, if anything in the world, he was trustworthy. Yeah. And so we just, and when we talked later, and we were talking about when we would get married, he just said, well, I don't know. Well, just have to see how things go. And I was really quite hurt. I shed a few tears over that.
And you said the reason, you said before the reason was because he saw marriages.
Yeah, he saw too many marriages that were horrible marriages. People couldn't get along and fought and all these things. And he just didn't trust marriage. But
Did his patriarchal blessing say anything about marriage? Do you remember?
I don't know. I gotta get it out, look at it, and see.
Yeah, we should read that so that we have a record of his
I
too.
don't know even where it is. I have to find it. But and let's see.
So you're
about
saying
2
that
weeks.
that was really painful to hear, that hurt,
Yeah.
and because you'd had this whole vision of you guys coming together and getting married, and you've been waiting for 2 years.
Yeah.
You'd already seen what you were going to do. You had a hope chest. You had everything, didn't you?
Yeah. Or my dreams all going to pot. But about 2 weeks later, he asked me if I'd like to go to conference with him
So wait
in
a second,
Salt
though.
Lake.
So when he had said that, you didn't give up though, because you still
Oh, no.
dated him, and you.
No, I was.
So you were just like, okay, I'll just give him time, and
Well, I didn't know what would happen, but I knew I would just wait and see what happened. And so it
and you
was
didn't
about.
pull away from him or anything like that.
Huh?
You didn't pull away from him or anything like
Oh
that.
no, we spent time together, and whatever we did, we did. Like it was kind of a. And those few weeks after missionary gets home, they're so busy with welcome homes, a family all coming, friends all coming,
Yeah.
and
All
you
the
know they
parties
don't
and
want for any
Yeah.
activities. They've got plenty of activities.
And it's probably such a huge transition coming from 2 years out there to, it's kind of like people coming home from the war, in a certain way, but not with that kind of trauma, but certainly a very different world. And then he's now in a new world, and you weren't there with him, and
That's true. So anyway, he asked me if I would like to go with him to conference, and I said yes. So we went, and after the morning conference was done, we went down
you said the
to.
conference was on something specific.
I don't know.
I remember you saying that one time, and I don't remember what it was, but
I don't
there was
remember
something
now.
that you said it was really a good conference or something.
Yeah, it's a good conference. And so when it was lunchtime, or when the morning conference was over, and it was lunchtime, he said, "You want to go to Walgreens with me and have lunch?" And I said, "Sure." So we walked down to Walgreens, and we made our order, lemon meringue pie. That was his favorite forever. That was his favorite forever. And so we were sitting there just nibbling on our lemon meringue pie. And we're just kind of talking about whatever came up. And eating our lemon meringue pie and loving it. And after some kind of awkward quietness, he said, I can't remember his exact words, but he asked me if I would marry him. Asked me again if I would marry him. And I can't tell you how happy, excited, could hardly believe it. A mixture of all these feelings and wonderings and everything just about overwhelmed me. And of course I said yes. And we were both just so excited that I don't even remember what we said, but I know we enjoyed our walk back to the tabernacle for afternoon conference. We were just, I know he told me, I remember one thing. He told me that he was sorry that he'd caused me so much hurt, but he hoped that I would forgive him and everything would be okay. Of course I would forgive him, and of course everything would be okay. It was.
Yeah.
The end.
The end. Okay. And you went back to, so how many months after that then were you married?
Oh, let's see.
You got married in November, right?
It was just a week or so after. Everything was all planned, ready to go.
So the wedding had already been planned?
Hmm?
So before he got home from his mission, the wedding had been planned. Was it, had a date been set or just the wedding had been planned?
Just some plans had been made for it. We had our wedding in one of the Provo chapels, and my mother and I went over and decorated that day, and we got everything all ready.
So, so when you got home that day, did you tell your mom what had happened?
Oh yeah.
And what did she say?
But we didn't. We got married in Salt Lake Temple, and it was our reception that was going to be held in this chapel, and if anything could be weird, happening, if anything more could happen to make things, whoa, hold on, what are we doing? And how are we going to do this and everything? It never stopped being that way.
So there were obstacles that kept getting in the way?
Well, here's the thing. The marriage in the temple would have to be on one day because it takes all day for that, and then the reception would either have to be later in that day or on a different day. So we chose.
Your feet sort of moved.
Oh, did I keep turning the chair around?
Just noticing it now.
Mother and I had worked very hard to get that chapel ready, and see, how did we get that arranged that way? Because our wedding was in Salt Lake Temple, and we went directly from the wedding to on our honeymoon. So we had to have the reception before we were married. Did we do that? But I think we did.
I thought you had it after you got back from your honeymoon. Where did you go on your honeymoon?
Yeah,
Didn't you go to Brigham City? Didn't you go to the bird refuge?
we ended up there.
Isn't that weird that you had moved to Brigham City too later?
Yeah, we just have laughed over that so many times. And I thought I'd never forget how this went and how we did it. We went on our honeymoon and then we came back for our reception. Now that is absolutely crazy.
Why? There's some nice pictures of them at their reception, cutting the cake. And there they are. And you guys look so pretty and so happy.
And we were.
Yeah. And that is your engagement picture,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So here's Mom's engagement picture. And that was what was in the newspapers, right?
yeah.
Saying that you were engaged. You look so pretty in that. That was such a beautiful picture. And these are all the people. These are all your in-laws now.
That's Wendell's parents behind him.
Did you?
And my parents behind me.
Did you ever go to Juanita or Calvin's home or talk with them while Wendell was away?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you got to know her pretty well.
Oh yeah.
And there's the whole lineup right there. There's all the people. It's kind of, yeah, there's all the people there. And your sister was there, and is that Joan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Joan and your sister were in the lineup, and then I see Gordon next to Dad. Was Gordon the best man?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Why did Dad choose Gordon as the best man?
Because they liked him.
Really? They got along well? I did not know that. They got along really well, huh?
Well, it was as a family. They didn't go out to play games with each other. He just chose somebody from my family.
Oh, that's nice. That's funny that he didn't choose one of his own brothers. And then these are all, Mom was saying, these are, all the sweetheart girls that she was talking about. So there they are. And, they're singing a song to you in that picture, right, Mom?
Yeah, they're singing the Missionary Sweetheart song.
Oh, my goodness. And then we've sort of shown these, but this is Mom's little flower girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are your flower girls.
They were also my nieces.
Your nieces.
Mm-hmm.
So from who's like?
From let's see, from Aunt Genevieve's and Aunt Anna's children.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Genevieve. So that's on your mom's side.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and this was the first dance, right? Look at you, and you had to pull that train up, didn't you? Because you had that long train.
Yeah.
What song did they play when you were
dancing?
When you were dancing.
Oh, all the romantic ones. Couldn't read.
It wasn't "Let Me Call You Sweetheart," was it?
It was probably there.
Yeah. Because that's always what your song was.
Yeah.
Your dad's songs was like that.
Yeah.
And now you have a wedding ring too.
Yeah. No, I got it.
Now you got him. Yeah. So there's Mom with her wedding ring. You guys posed for some good pictures. Those are really good pictures.
He is such a handsome man.
Isn't he handsome?
He is.
You guys
so
make
handsome.
a beautiful, beautiful couple, don't you?
I think I got away with somebody that there were several other girls had their eye on.
Really? There we go, Mom. And then there's another picture of Mom by herself. And look at that incredible train. That is an amazing train.
Yeah.
I guess you'd have to have flower girls behind you to make sure that was in place, huh?
They had to hold it up for me.
Yeah.
Now, see, this is my. I'll tell you here, and then you can tell.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. This is my sister, Arlene.
I can move this around a little bit.
Okay. This
You
one
turn
here.
it a little bit more towards the camera there. Okay.
This one is my sister Arlene, and this is me, and this is my really good friend, the one that we fought over the airplane.
The airplane. What was her name?
Colleen.
Colleen. Okay.
And this is oh, what's her name?
Joanne?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is Joan. That's
Joan. But I thought you had a
Wendy's
friend named
sister.
Joanne. Okay.
And this is my friend that my other friend. Oh, I can't remember her name now. We fought over things. We cried over things. We did all the things together. Oh, it came to me. Oh shoot! I got it written on there. No, I don't. I need to write names on here. No. No. Oh, I can't remember today.
So are all these your brides? maid?
That's my bridesmaid.
And who's your maid of honor?
Colleen.
Colleen was your maid of honor. Was she already married?
Uh,
Isn't it usually a maid
No.
of honor?
Colleen never married.
Oh, that's the one who never married.
She died before she married. This is Joan. That's Wendell's sister.
So I'm gonna make that a little bit close up so people can see. I'll point to them. So this is Wendell's youngest sister, Joan. This is Colleen, the maid of honor. This is Arlene, Mom's
Sister.
sister, and then this is the one that Mom used to fight with all the time. It was also one of her bridesmaids. And then this final one. Now look at that cutlery. You guys got some nice gifts. Tell us about the gifts at your wedding.
Well, this was not gifts. This was my.
Oh, is that your trousseau?
My trousseau here?
So are these your silver? Is that your?
Mhm.
Wow. When did you get your silver? Your silverware? You bought them yourself then?
No, this isn't. You're thinking about the silver that's in the drawer.
That's not the same one. Okay.
We bought that later. We had just.
Those are things that you put in your trousseau.
I think these are. Let's see. Yeah, it is.
It is your silverware.
Mm-hmm.
The silver that you have.
Yeah, this is some sterling silver that I bought. It's in the little drawer in there.
Yeah. So you really prepared well, Mom, for all the things you wanted to have.
I think I remembered her name. Eregine. Okay. This is Eregine Hyatt. Just
There you
look at
go.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eregine. Maybe that's why I thought it was Jean or Joan or something like that, but Eregine.
Eregine Hyatt. Yeah.
Well, so you went on your honeymoon to Brigham City, and you went back to your reception. And was that a beautiful night? Did you have fun? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We did.
Who all came out? Was that your whole ward there, or?
You know, we had a whole bunch of people. So if we got out the signing sheet, we could tell you, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's so wonderful,
Yeah.
Mom. Well, congratulations for marrying the man of your dreams.
Thank
And
you.
then you snagged somebody that a lot of other people wanted, and he chose you, and he asked you again twice to get married, and you guys were married for 65. Let's see, before Dad passed away, how many years were you guys married? It's over 65, wasn't it?
Let's see. We were married in.
What year?
Let's see, what year were we married in? 1951.
Yeah, because Wendy was born in 1952. So that's
Yeah.
right. It was 1951. So it was,
1951.
wasn't it November? Was it November 22nd? Or what is your anniversary date?
Let's see, our anniversary date is,
I always want to say 22nd, but it's probably not.
yeah, that's crazy that I can't. I've got too many things going through my brain today. November the 21st, November
Yeah.
the 6th, November.
November the 6th was when Wendy was born.
Okay, well, November the 6th is,
So you had Wendy a year after you guys got married.
yeah.
So I think it was like the later part or the mid part or later part of November. And then Wendy was born the next year. And I believe it was the 6th of November.
November 21st.
21st. Okay. See, I said the 22nd, but I think that was the 21st.
Yeah,
That's right.
there it came.
There it
But
was,
I'm in there.
yeah.
November 21st, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's really, really wonderful. So, okay, we'll end it there. That was quite a lot of stories.
We went all over the place, didn't
We
we?
did, but that was really good. So,